Ice is nature's ultimate preservation chamber. Over the years, explorers, scientists, and even everyday adventurers have stumbled across some truly mind-blowing things locked in frozen landscapes. From ancient creatures that roamed the Earth millions of years ago to long-lost human artifacts, and even entire ships trapped in glaciers, these frozen finds offer us a rare and chilling window into the distant past. So let's break the ice and take a look at 15 of the creepiest things found frozen in ice that will make your blood run cold. Let's kick things off with number 15, World War I soldiers. Only the dead have seen the end of war, Plato once said. Well, it turns out the dead in northern Italy got a little extra time to reflect on that sentiment, thanks to some very slow melting glaciers. In the early 1990s, global warming began doing what it does best, melting glaciers near Peo in northern Italy. But this wasn't just any patch of ice. It was the site of the infamous White War during World War I. Hundreds of soldiers met their fate here, not from enemy bullets, but from avalanches and freezing temperatures that sometimes dipped to a bone-chilling 20 degrees. As the ice began to melt, out came some very unexpected artifacts: letters, diaries, photos, and even mummified bodies. It's like history's version of an Instagram post, but with a lot more frozen corpses. In 2004, archaeologists stumbled upon a cabin buried under the snow, packed with weapons, gear, and ammo. So, war is terrible. But it turns out, ice may be even worse than war. Number 14, frozen fossils. When we think of dinosaurs, ice doesn't exactly come to mind. But in Antarctica, where snow and glaciers reign, some of the most mind-blowing fossil discoveries have been uncovered. As the ice sheets melt, paleontologists have stumbled upon the remains of prehistoric marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and mosasaurs, creatures that once ruled warm tropical seas where ice now blankets the land. These fossils are millions of years old, dating back to a time when Antarctica was a lush paradise, teeming with life and vibrant ecosystems. Now, as the ice melts away, these ancient relics are giving scientists a whole new perspective on Earth's dramatic climate shifts. They're not just fossils, they're time capsules that reveal how our planet's environments can radically change, flipping entire ecosystems upside down. Who knew that frozen ice sheets could be the ultimate archaeological treasure chest? Now, let's move to number 13, the Siberian steppe bison. In 2011, a mind-blowing discovery was made in Siberia's Yana Indigirka lowland, the frozen remains of a 9,000-year-old steppe bison, affectionately dubbed Blue Babe by the team that found it. This bison wasn't just some old fossil. It was so perfectly preserved that its skin was still intact, and its flesh was described as fresh, though definitely not fresh enough for dinner. Blue Babe's remarkable state of preservation offers scientists a rare peek into the wildlife that roamed the Ice Age steppes of Siberia, giving us an almost eerie connection to a world long gone. The discovery has sparked a whole new round of debates and excitement about the possibility of cloning extinct species. Could we one day bring creatures like Blue Babe back to life? While we're not there yet, it's definitely a chilling reminder of how the past might still hold secrets waiting to be unlocked. And sometimes, it's better to keep those secrets frozen in time. Number 12, life forms in a subglacial lake. It turns out life is a little more persistent than we might think. Beneath the thick layers of Antarctica's East Antarctic ice sheet lies Lake Vostok, a massive subglacial lake that has been sealed off from the world for millions of years. With no sunlight, freezing temperatures, and crushing physical pressure, you might assume this place is a barren wasteland. But think again. Ice core studies have revealed the presence of exotic microbes, with one team discovering over 3,500 species living in the lake's depths. These tiny life forms are believed to survive on recycled carbon, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem. However, not everyone is convinced. Some scientists argue that the samples might have been contaminated, casting doubt on these extraordinary claims. Regardless, this discovery raises the tantalizing possibility that life can thrive in even the harshest conditions, and who knows what else might be waiting beneath the ice. Number 11. Sacrificed Incan children. In 1999, archaeologists unearthed a chilling discovery high in the Andes: the mummified remains of 3 children frozen at the summit of Lula-Ilaco, a dormant volcano. Known as the Children of Lula-Ilaco, these mummies are considered some of the best preserved ancient remains ever found. One is a teenage girl, and the others are younger children, believed to be around 6 and 7 years old. It's widely believed that they were sacrificed in a ritual to ensure a bountiful harvest during the Incan Empire's reign, around the year 1500. The children were drugged with a potent mix of alcohol and coca leaves, then placed into a deep grave while unconscious, where they were left to die. The combination of freezing temperatures and the dry desert air preserved their bodies for centuries, offering a haunting glimpse into the religious practices of the Inca. The discovery is both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. Number 10. Frozen viruses. While finding long-dead creatures frozen in ice is certainly mind-blowing, there's an even more chilling discovery scientists are now facing: frozen viruses. In 2014, researchers found a 30,000-year-old virus in Siberian ice, and to their shock, they managed to bring it back to life in a laboratory. Fortunately, this virus only affects amoebas, not humans, but the implications of such discoveries are unsettling. As global temperatures rise and ice melts at an alarming rate, scientists worry that other dormant viruses, some potentially harmful to humans, may be released from their icy prisons. These ancient pathogens, having been frozen for millennia, could spark a return of diseases we've long forgotten. The thought of viruses from the distant past resurfacing in our modern world is enough to send shivers down your spine. And with more ice melting each year, who knows what other ancient threats may soon be unleashed. Number 9. Otzi the Iceman. In 1991, 2 hikers in the Alps stumbled upon what they thought was the body of a recent climber, but what they actually discovered was something far more extraordinary. Otzi the Iceman, a 5,300-year-old frozen corpse. Frozen in a glacier on the border between Austria and Italy, Otzi's body was incredibly well preserved, providing scientists with a rare snapshot of life during the Copper Age. His clothing, weapons, and even the remnants of his last meal were still intact. Upon closer examination, however, it became clear that Otzi's death wasn't accidental. He'd been murdered. An arrowhead was found lodged in his shoulder, and signs of a struggle were visible on his hands. This discovery has unlocked invaluable knowledge about Copper Age life, including ancient food, fashion, and survival strategies. Otzi's frozen body has become one of the most significant archaeological finds in history, revealing shocking secrets about our distant past. Number 8. Ice caves and frozen waves. Imagine being trapped in an ice cave, with massive frozen waves towering over you. That's exactly what you'd experience if you ventured beneath Iceland's Vatna Glacier, Europe's second-largest ice cap. Stretching over 8% of the country, Vatna has earned its fame, appearing in everything from Game of Thrones to James Bond films. Beneath its frozen expanse lies a network of ice caves, their walls and ceilings sculpted into giant wave-like formations. These surreal, breathtaking landscapes are created by geothermal springs beneath the glacier, which melt the ice, only for it to refreeze into otherworldly shapes. It's as beautiful as it is eerie, and there's something uniquely unsettling about standing inside, surrounded by frozen waves that seem to be frozen mid-crash. While these caves are stunning to look at, the claustrophobic atmosphere and the constant reminder that you're beneath tons of ice add a sense of foreboding to the experience. Number 7. Grasshopper Glacier. Nestled in the Beartooth Mountains of Montana, the Grasshopper Glacier is a fascinating, eerie sight. Discovered in the early 20th century, it became world famous for an unusual phenomenon: tens of millions of grasshoppers and locusts frozen within its icy depths. Although the glacier has receded over recent years, it still stands at more than 11,000 feet above sea level and stretches over 5 miles. Most of the insects entombed here are hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. Some are even members of an extinct species that vanished around 200 years ago. The prevailing theory is that these grasshoppers, in a massive swarm, were caught in a snowstorm and perished, ultimately becoming trapped in the glacier's frozen grip. In fact, 2 nearby glaciers, Hopper Glacier and a second Grasshopper Glacier, contain millions of similar insects. Would you like to visit this oddly bizarre place? Well, we'll definitely not. Let's move to number 6. Bloody-looking water. Antarctica is known for its extreme, otherworldly features, but none quite as unsettling as Blood Falls. This peculiar site, discovered in 1911 by Australian geologist Griffith Taylor, appears as if blood is pouring from the side of Taylor Glacier, flowing into the icy expanse of Lake Bonny. Initially, Taylor suggested the eerie red water might be caused by red algae, but science has since revealed a different story. The blood is actually salt water laced with a high concentration of iron oxide, giving it a reddish hue reminiscent of blood. The source of this iron-rich water lies deep within the glacier, where it flows up through cracks, staining the surface with its rusty color. Though the explanation may be less sinister than originally thought, the sight of this bloody waterfall cascading down a glacier is still strikingly eerie. Blood Falls is one of Antarctica's most visually captivating and slightly creepy natural phenomena. Number 5. Remains of a military transport aircraft. In November 1952, a military transport aircraft carrying 52 people tragically crashed into Alaska's Chugach Mountains. After the crash, rescuers were unable to locate the wreckage, which had been buried under thick snow and caused an avalanche. The search was eventually called off, and the wreckage was lost for decades. Then, in June 2012, while conducting a routine training mission, the Alaska Army National Guard stumbled upon the wreckage's survival raft 14 miles from the original crash site. This led to an investigation that uncovered the wreckage buried in Colony Glacier, nearly 60 years after the crash. The tragic event left many unanswered questions, but the rediscovery of the wreckage offered some closure, revealing the remnants of the aircraft and the harsh conditions the crew and passengers had faced. The crash and its long-lost wreckage highlight both the unforgiving nature of Alaska's terrain and the resilience of those who search for answers. Number 4. A preserved mummy head. In 2017, archaeologists made a chilling discovery in the Zeleny Yar burial site near Salikard, Russia. 2 mummies, one of an adult woman and the other of a baby, frozen in time for over 900 years. But here's the real kicker. They didn't find the full body of the woman, just her preserved head. Imagine that. It's like finding the ultimate collectible head on a treasure hunt. Not only does she look a little green, thanks to the copper burial materials, but her hair and eyelashes are still intact, giving her that freshly embalmed look. This was a lady who definitely took her skincare routine seriously. Experts think she may have been some sort of VIP in her society, as she's the only woman in a burial ground full of men. Talk about an exclusive club. Now, if only we could find the rest of her. Maybe she's just taking a long nap. Well, we're just kidding. Number 3. The Greenland shark. The Greenland shark is basically the Methuselah of the ocean, a true survivor of the Ice Age that's been hanging around the North Atlantic and Arctic oceans for over 400 years. These sharks are like the ancient tortoises of the sea, only bigger, scarier, and much better at hiding from us. They can grow up to 24 feet long, but don't expect them to be speedy. These slowpokes take their time, living out their long, long lives without a care in the world. They're practically the ocean's version of that ancient grandparent who's seen everything, from dinosaurs to your awkward teenage years. Imagine how many stories they must have if only they could talk. The real kicker? These sharks can live for centuries, meaning they've been swimming around while Earth was having some serious mood swings. Global warming? These sharks have been chilling since before it was cool. Number 2. Century-old whiskey. Well, this isn't the creepiest finding, but it's certainly one of the saddest. Imagine this. You're on an epic adventure to one of the most remote places on Earth, and you've stashed away some fine scotch and brandy, planning to crack them open once you get back. That was the dream of explorer Ernest Shackleton, who, in 1909, left behind 3 cases of scotch and 2 cases of brandy on his Antarctic journey. Sadly, Shackleton never got to enjoy them, passing away in 1921 from a heart attack before he could return to retrieve his prized booze. Fast forward to 2010, when workers in Antarctica stumbled upon Shackleton's frozen alcohol, perfectly preserved in the ice for nearly a century. It's like the ultimate unopened gift left behind by the universe. If only Shackleton could have had a sip before he left. Imagine the stories he would have told. Number 1. A frozen fish eating another fish. The strange phenomenon of nature freezing in time can sometimes lead to bizarre discoveries. In one such instance, 2 brothers fishing on Wawasee Lake in Indiana stumbled upon a truly odd sight. A frozen pike, mid-meal, with a base still lodged in its mouth. While frozen fish are not uncommon, this rare occurrence caught everyone's attention because of the unusual timing. The pike had been in the midst of eating the base when the temperatures suddenly dropped, trapping both fish in the ice. The scene left the brothers, and later, the community, baffled, as it raised questions about the fragility of life in extreme cold and the odd nature of freezing events. The eerie image of one fish devouring another, only to be frozen in time, is a reminder of how unpredictable nature can be. This discovery remains an example of the mysterious ways in which life can be preserved by sudden, unexpected cold snaps. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.